So hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Now I'm going to do a quick overview of the new Trek Madone aero bike that's just been uncovered by road.cc at the Criterium du Dauphine. Now the Madone has probably been my favourite aero bike on the market just because it's probably one of the comfiest aero bikes to ride. I've always said this about aero bikes, for most of the roads out there that are rough, they're just too stiff. And then the industry trend, rather naively, over the last kind of 5-10 years has just been, oh well, we can fit bigger tyres and drop the pressure. But that comes to a point where you start to compromise on things like rolling resistance and handling. I don't know why we have this ethos in the bike industry of just make everything as stiff as possible and then just adjust the comfort with tyre pressure. You don't get that in other vehicles, you don't get that in motorsport. You know, you put the elastic spring elements in the chassis and you optimize the tyre pressure for rolling resistance and grip. So anyway, that was why I like the ISO-speed decoupler. It gave a lot of deflection to the seat post. It meant you could ride that bike really hard at a very comfortable power output without being jiggled around over really tough terrain and with moderately higher tyre pressure as well. So you're still not being penalised when you get to a smoother section. That's why I really like that bike. But they seem to have done away with the ISO-speed decoupler on the new one. They've kind of got this sort of gaping hole at the top of the seat tube. Now, they'll say that's for aero reasons, they'll say that's for comfort reasons, but the fact is the old ISO-speed decoupler on the Madone made it quite a porky bike. You quite often see those bikes at the high end of 8 kilos, maybe even 9 kilos in a large size, just because you've got that extra hardware in there, you've got those bearings in there, you've got that shoulder bolt and the little bushings in there. And also with that leaf spring system, you basically ended up kind of doubling the number of walls of carbon you've got, so it wasn't unusual to see that adding kind of 100-200 grams to a frame set. They've also had complaints about that, so they've done away with it and tried to create this other deflection system by just putting a massive hole at the top of the seat tube. Now, that is going to add some kind of deflection to the seat post. It's not going to be as much as the old leaf spring design. You can just tell, the unsupported length is a lot shorter. It looks a lot stiffer. And I have to say, I mean, if you were designing a spring element, you wouldn't design it with such an acute kind of angle in there, because that just looks like a crack site in this sort of right at the apex of that angle. That just looks like a crack initiator, because that seat post is going to be in deflection. There's going to be a lot of downward bending, sort of a lot of downward and aft bending on that part of the frame. They're going to have to beefed up that area with carbon to stop it cracking throughout the fatigue test, I guarantee. So if they've beefed up that area so much, are they still going to get the desired deflection they want from that area? There may be some of the deflection element inside the seat post that may have thinned down the inside of the seat post. I don't know, I can't tell from the photos. But I mean, apart from that, that's the only kind of radical thing we can see on this new bike. Again, it's got a very beefy down tube. They're maxing out the airfoil ratios that they're allowed to do with the UCI. The Madone always had really good tyre clearance, front and rear, for an aero bike, and I really like that. You could fit bigger tyres if you were riding cobbles, or you want to take it off-road, like I take my road bike. Looks like they've missed a trick here with the front disc. They haven't put 180 mounts on it. I would, on all new generation bikes, be putting 180 mounts, but keeps me in business selling my little jiggy spacers. And apart from that, it doesn't look that different. We've got the stem cap on the back of the stem. That's probably for a bit of easier cable management than the current one. The current one, the cable management is quite good, but it's a real pain to service, to get the stem on and off. And those hydraulic hose lengths have to be absolutely perfect. Fork, again, very similar to the current one, kind of maxed out on the airfoil ratio. And in total, I think they've tried to reduce the weight of the bike a little bit, keep the airfoil really deep like the current one. But I do think it would definitely have lost some comfort over the current one by not having that ISO-speed decoupler. I think in terms of bike innovations, I think that far outweighs the benefits of disc brakes or something like that. In terms of bike innovations that are like novel, well thought out, well executed, and really not many warranty problems in bike frames, the ISO-speed decoupler has been a really good thing, and it's a real shame they've lost it just to save a few hundred grams. But there we go. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Please don't write any woke comments about my t-shirt. It's just a t-shirt. I've had it since I was about 15. So cheers, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.